Boys and girls, this is Mr. Yates again. We're going to try this recording of our spiral math one more time. Apparently it's been freezing after 7 minutes, so we're going to try this one more time and hopefully this will work. On this version, I'm going to give you the answers and the work just like always, but this time I've already written it down, so it'll be a little bit faster to go through it. First of all, for number one, we're going to be looking at the how many pounds there are, or how many tons and pounds there are in 14,427 pounds. And I worked out everything here. I did some dividing. I know that 14,427 should be divided by 2,000. I ended up with 7 tons. And then my remainder is 427, which becomes my number of pounds right here. So basically, I'm going to have 7 tons, 427 pounds is equal to 14,427 pounds. Let's move on to number 2. For number 2, I'm going to be writing the prime factorization using exponents. So the number I'm going to be working with is 75. And over here, I've already done the factorization already to find the prime factors using exponents. What I did is I went ahead and I took 75, multiplied it by 15 times 5 as my factors. Then I broke down 15 to get 3 times 5. I don't need to take 5, break it down anymore because it's already prime. Now I have my 3 prime factors, 3 times 5 times 5. I can do one more thing, which is basically to turn the 5 times 5 into 5 to the second power using an exponent, and I'll leave the 3 alone. That means my answer sentence is going to be the prime factorization of 75 is 3 times 5 to the second power. Moving on down to number 3, we're going to look at multiplying. We're going to find the number, or find the product in simplest form. It's important here to remember that we're going to be turning the 15 multiplied by 5/9. We're going to multiply that 15 and make that into a improper fraction. So I'm going to take 15 over 1, multiply 15 times 5. In the other video, I noticed how it's freaky that 15 times 5 is also what we were doing up here in prime factorization of 75. So I know that 15 times 5 is 75. 1 times 9 becomes 9. I'm going to divide the 75 by 9, and I'm going to get 8 with a remainder of 3 over 9 as my fraction. But I know I'm going to be able to simplify that, so I simplify it down. And earlier today, I made a calculation error, so I just wrote that down. I fixed it now. So now the correct answer is 8 and 1 over 3. We'll move on to number 4. Number 4, we're going to be taking the number of centimeters, which is 210 centimeters, and converting it into millimeters. What I did is I multiplied, I know that 10 millimeters is in 1 centimeter. The next thing I'm going to do is multiply that 210 centimeters and multiply it by 10 using mental math. 1 times 21 is 21, adding 2 zeros, and I get 2,100 millimeters, as is my amount of millimeters in 210 centimeters. Boys and girls, again, make sure you're showing your work on all these problems just to make sure that when you go back, you can check. And if you made any mistakes, you can see where you made your mistakes. I'm going to go on to number 5. Here I'm ordering the numbers from greatest to least. I put G for greatest and L for least. And yes, I lined out my decimals, and that's how I compared them. I ended up with 9 4/10 as the greatest. 5 is our middle, and our least is 1/10. We're going to go ahead and move on now to number 6. I'm going to move this out just a little bit so you can see. And move out one more here. There's a little more. All right. A garden measures 9 3/5 yards by 7 5/9 yards. Estimate its area by rounding each length to the nearest yard. I'm going to be doing some estimating today. So what I'll do is I'm going to estimate first the 9 3/5. Since 3 is closer to 5, I'm going to round that number up to 10. The same with 7 5/9. 5 is closer to 9 than to 0, so I'm going to round the 7 up to the next whole number, which is 8. So now I'm going to be multiplying 10 times 8 to get the area of the garden. I'm going to then take a look right here and put area garden, and I want the word about in there because I'm doing some estimating today. I have 80 square yards, making sure that you have that little exponent up there to show that it is area. And we'll go on down to number 7. Number 7 is going to be evaluating the expressions 12 times 4 times, in parentheses, 6 minus 5 plus 1, which looks almost exactly the same as this expression, 12 times 4 times 6 minus 5 plus 1. The big difference is that here there are parentheses, but down below there are no parentheses. And that's going to make a big difference. In fact, the difference is caused by the parentheses, which change the order of operations. And let's take a look at how I solved it. This is what I did to show that there's going to be a big difference in my results. What I did is I worked through this right now, and I took 12 times 4 first, or I'm sorry, I took 6 minus 5 first. That's my parentheses, so I always start there first. Then I take 12 times 4 to get 48. Drop down the 1, drop down the add 1 here. 48 times 1 is going to equal 48. I drop down the add 1 here and I end up with 49, which is a big difference than if I solve this without parentheses. 12 times 4 equals 48 because that's the first multiplication I see going from left to right. Then I'm going to drop down the times 6, and that's the second multiplication I'm going to be doing because it's the first one I see when I go from left to right. I'm going to drop down minus 5. I'm going to drop down plus 1. I'm going to take that 48 times 6 and turn it into 288. Subtract the 5 right here. I'm going to be adding 1 right here. So I'm going to take 288 first because that's the first part I see from left to right. There's no more multiplication or dividing. Then I'm going to take 283, and I'm going to add 1 to it. And that's going to be getting me 284 as my solving for this one. So as you can see, there's a big difference between 49 and 284. And the reason why is going back to here. The difference is caused by the parentheses, which change the order of operations. So if you have a because sentence here, or just starting to say it like this, that's fine. But I do want you to tell me why there is a difference. What causes the difference in the answers? I'm going to go to the final one, which is number 8. And I'm going to take a look here. I'll move down. Part 1 was to find the value of 3 to the 4th power. And if you notice, boys and girls, 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 is 3 to the 4th power. It's not 3 times 4. 3 times 4 would just be 12. But as you notice, 3 times 3 is 9. When I multiply that, now I'm going to go times 3, which is going to equal 27. Multiply it by 3 again, and I'm going to get 27 times 3, and that's going to equal 81. It's a big difference when I multiply 4 times 3, though. 4 times 3, if I just said 4 times 3, it would be 12. But this is 4 to the 3rd power, which is different. It means 4 times 4 times 4. So 4 times 4 is 16, which I'm going to multiply again by 4, and that's going to be getting 84. So as you can see, 3 to the 4th power is 81, but 4 to the 3rd power is 64. And I'm going to write that as my answer sentence, and you're going to use the word because. And please make sure you did the same thing. The solutions are not the same because 3 to the 4th power equals 81, but 4 to the 3rd power equals 64. And that's my proof in my work right here that the two products are not going to be the same. Hopefully, boys and girls, you're able to see this entire video without it freezing at 7 minutes. If you have any questions about your spiral math, go ahead and email me or Ms. Garcia. Thanks.